Hello students, session 5 English usage para jumbles. What is para jumbles? In banking exams, para jumble is an important topic that can fetch you good marks if you practice it well. Here in this topic, candidates are required to rearrange the given sentences, making it a coherent and logical paragraph. You just need to follow a systematic approach to solve the question instead of mugging up with the sentences given. To make sure that you mark the answers correctly in para-jumble questions, follow the approaches properly to solve the question. Firstly, read the sentences attentively and try to comprehend the central idea or theme of the paragraph. In the second step, identify the opening and the closing sentence of the paragraph. The sentence which introduces the new characters and independent of other sentences is generally the opening, that is first sentence. To identify the closing sentence, look out for the sentence which can conclude the paragraph. The last sentence must be logically connected to the entire paragraph and should not be abrupt. Now, the third step is to identify the mandatory pairs. Identify those two sentences which are linked or connected in any way. Two sentences can be connected through various connectors and other determinants such as examples and other follow-ups. Connecting words such as hence, therefore, thus, etc. are continuation of an idea. To arrange the sentences properly, identify the transition words. Transition words helps in finding the next sentence as they function like logical connections between the two sentences. With the help of transition words, you can easily identify the mandatory pair as well. The most commonly used transition words in para-jumble questions are as follows: above all, also, again, as well as, accordingly, aside, from, barring, besides, consequently, even, so, furthermore, however, in addition, likewise, moreover, meanwhile, for instance, for example, for one thing, in other words, in short, instead, on the other hand, rather, yet, but, still, nevertheless, next, then, soon, later, while, earlier, simultaneously, afterward, in conclusion. With this in mind, after all in all, to sum up, ultimately, etc. are certain examples. Next step, try to identify the pronouns which are connecting the sentences with each other. For example, one sentence talks about Ajay, another sentence starts with the word he. In such a case, it implies that he is referring to the Ajay mentioned in the previous statement. So, always try to find the connections among sentences with the help of pronouns such as he, she, it, him, her, his, they, their, your, etc. So let us move to the question number 1. With a group of top executives of the US aluminum and steel industries suggesting that domestic steel and aluminum prices and profits were the prime consideration in arriving at the decision, the announcement of the import tariffs came at a meeting. So what could be the sequence from where it should start and from where it has to end? So from going through the statement, we can understand that statement D seems to be the first statement. The announcement of the import tariffs came at a meeting with a group of top executives, that is A, with a group of top executives of the US aluminum and steel industries suggesting that domestic steel and aluminum prices and profits were the prime consideration in arriving at the decision, which is the last statement. So the sequence should be in the form of D, A, B, C, which will be more meaningful. So now let us move to the question number 2. On 1st March, to impose a 25% import tariff on steel and a 10% import tariff on aluminum, both on grounds, United States President Donald Trump's announcement of national security has been widely expected to provoke a trade war. So what can be the correct option? So is it CBAD or DBAC or CABD or BCADA or no rearrangement required? So from the given information, we can say that the right option should be C, where it is CABD. That means United States President Donald Trump's announcement on 1st March to impose a 25% import tariff on steel and a 10% import tariff on aluminum, both on grounds, has been widely expected to provoke a trade war. So the sequence should be CABD. Now let us move to the next question, that is question number 3. In Meghalaya, Nagaland and Tripura, if there is one lesson the mainland must draw from the recent assembly elections, Northeast India, it is to avoid generalizations. So what could be the sequence? Is it CBAD or BDAC or BADC or BCAD, or no arrangement is required? So the only valid first fragment is fragment B, that is B and C. B, if there is one lesson the mainland must draw from the recent assembly elections in Meghalaya, Nagaland and Tripura, Northeast India, it is to avoid generalization. So the correct sequence should be BCAD. If there is one lesson the mainland must draw from the recent assembly elections in Meghalaya, Nagaland and Tripura in Northeast India, it is to avoid generalizations will be the meaningful statement. So option C, BCAD will be the right choice. Now let us move to question number 4. Discredited itself before the public, especially after the countdown to the assembly election began, is a major reason for its failure, the manner in which the ruling party. So what could be the sequence? Is it DABC or DCBA or CBAD or BACD? So if you see, the only valid first fragment is fragment D, the manner in which the ruling party, followed by A, discredited itself before the public, followed by B, especially after the countdown to the following assembly election began, is a major reason for its failure. The manner in which the ruling party discredited itself before the public, especially after the countdown to the assembly election began, is a major reason for its failure. So that is how the sequence has to be, and the correct sequence is DABC, which is option A. Now let us move to question number 5. They users of the public distribution system agree, but their demand has fallen on deaf ears. Study at the block and district headquarters have repeatedly protested against the DBT pilot. So what could be the option or the sequence? Is it in the form of ABCD or ADCB or DBCA or ACBD, or no rearrangement is required? So from the given information, we can say that the first statement lies in part A itself, that is, they users of the public distribution system, and followed by statement part D, that is, have repeatedly protested against the DBT pilot, study at the block and district headquarters of Nagri, but the demand has fallen on deaf ears. So the sequence should be A followed by D, then followed by C, and finally by B. So ADCB should be the arrangement. So for that, B should be the correct option.